Let's get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. We are the Ducross Brothers Sports Warriors. I'm Tristan Ducross. This is my brother, Sean Ducross. Wow. Boy, has it been a while since we've done this. So a lot has gone on. You guys all know what's going on in our personal life and everything else in between. I'm not wearing a mask, so I'm inside, so I'm good, right? But it's been an interesting month, an interesting year so far.
2020's been a shitstorm.
Yeah, 2020 has not been kind to us at all. We've been missing our show, so
We've been in hiatus for a little bit, trying to figure everything out, trying to get adjusted and acclimated to the changes in life that has been thrown our way. We've been trying to figure out how to come back to you guys, to do a show, to give you guys a little bit of a different perspective and figure out how we're going to do this. It's like everybody else. It's like it's trial and error. It's what do you feel comfortable with doing? Some people feel comfortable with doing whatever they want with their podcast or a radio show for that matter. You hear a lot of different stuff out there right now. And for us, it was how did we want to come back? How often do we want to come back? It's still one of those things that we don't know yet. We really don't know how often we're going to do this, how much we're going to be back doing this. But this week we figured, okay, there's some interesting topics out there. Let's go ahead and bring the fans a little bit of a show. I mean, if the guys over at Busted Open can do it,
then so can we,
then
right?
I think we can do it too. If they can figure a way around it, maybe we can do it as well. One thing we've always talked about was that, well, let's talk about a little bit more about wrestling. I'm getting a little bit more involved in wrestling again. Tristan's involved in wrestling again. So it's like there's topics to talk about, whether it's just combat sports, wrestling. I mean, you even got Dark Side of the Ring. That is interesting to watch if you haven't watched it.
You need to get on Vice. That's what you need to do.
So there's a lot of intricacies that you can actually bring into a show and make it a little bit different. And it was taking us some time to try to figure out what exactly do we want to talk about? How much do we want to talk about? So our show may not be an hour. It may be a half hour.
Absolutely.
We don't know. It may change. It may vary. We were determined to get this show up today. So we're going to go with it, see how it goes, see how long it goes. It's one of those things. But so we're going to talk about wrestling right now. And the biggest topic is the fact that Ronda Rousey is in the mainstay. She's in mainstream media right now, once again, talking about fake wrestling. You know that's not good for anybody to be talking about wrestling as it's fake and that they don't know what it is to be in a real fight. Yeah, it's choreographed wrestling. Do they really do? Well, they used to get hit with real chairs. They still kind of do sometimes, it seems like. Ask Cody Rhodes on that one.
The split on the back of the head.
So, it is real to an extent. The outcomes are predetermined.
Yes, absolutely. But the bumps that they take, the injuries that they suffer is very real. As Cody Rhodes with the split on the back of the head, as the several concussions that wrestlers suffer over the course of time, that it's not real. When you go 365 days in a year and you're putting your body on the line every single stretch, that's going to take a toll on you.
Absolutely.
It takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on your mindset. It takes a toll on your family as well. The family portion comes up because that's what Ronda Rousey kind of went through with leaving the WWE, is that she wanted to start her own family. And I don't blame her at all, one bit.
Yeah, that's sometimes what fighters want to do. They want to go ahead and go that route. And it was always her dream to start a family and have a kid. Or have kids for that matter. But it's one of those things that you limit your words and you know how this ends.
Absolutely.
It's never gone well with any person that's been in the mainstream media that has discussed about wrestling being fake. We could go back to the era of Jerry Lawler and who is that guy that Jim Carrey portrayed?
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah. You could go back that far where the line is drawn in the sand of uttering the words of wrestling being fake. You do that to a wrestler and a wrestler's going to slap you in the face. That's what Nia Jax did. That's what Bliss did. The laundry list is growing of people going after her. Now everybody's like, oh, is this a work? Is this a work? It could very well be a work. And if it's a work, again, that's the new era of wrestling.
Yeah.
Blending the lines of reality.
We got to get a little bit of gray inside there to kind of blur the lines between the two.
Absolutely. So,
but the issue that I have with Ronda Rousey's comments is there's a couple things that kind of popped out to me. Not just the fact that you used the word fake. And you talk to a lot of wrestlers. That word, it irks a nerve. It hits a nerve. The issues that I have with this is that it was all fun and games when you collect a paycheck, right, Sean?
Yeah.
For $1 million, it was all fun and games. But when it started getting a little bit real, because the fans started kind of hooting and hollering at you, you kind of got a little bit of a butthurt problem. Just like kind of something that happened in the UFC is that when the fans start turning on you and they start questioning your motives and they start questioning whether you are as real or as legit as they come, you are very quick to point the fingers at everybody else.
You become very vulnerable.
Yes, but Sean, when she got knocked out, remember with Holly Holm kick upside the head, remember? She quit MMA, did she not?
Yeah.
She left mixed martial arts, the combat sports world, to go fight for this fake stuff. But she also did the same thing that she's doing now, blaming the fans. Just throwing out just bombs after bombs at the fans. She did the exact same thing when she left the UFC, left combat sports world.
Yeah.
She was all over the news. Oh, it's because of you guys. Oh, it's this and this. I'm trying to figure out here.
And it's not the first time that she's taken a shot at wrestling being fake. She did that in the Becky Lynch storyline. That's why a lot of people have uncertainty about, is this real? Is this a shoot? And is she doing this again?
Right, and the more that has come out about Ronda Rousey is that she was unsafe to work with inside the ring.
Ask Alexa Bliss about that.
Exactly. Who suffered a concussion in a match with Ronda Rousey and was sidelined for over a year.
Yep.
Is that fake? What about Droz, who is sitting in a wheelchair right now because of a botched powerbomb by D'Lo Brown? Is that fake? Sting taking a buckle bomb inside the ring, couldn't even walk out on his own power. Is that fake? No. The only thing that fake was you posting that video that was posted about that video and was with the Hulk Hogan doll. That was fake. But I'm starting to worry about the mental stability of her because I'm trying to figure out, is this all the fights, the so-called, just say it, the 300 fights, is that the body and the toll that is being taken on her body?
Well, that was the comparison she said, is like, if a wrestler does 300 fights in a year or whatever it may be, then their body is going to probably be dead if they do that in the UFC.
Like, is this seriously a popularity contest, though?
But fighters are dying after like 20 fights.
Yes.
Not in the UFC, but in the combat community. Because of the severity of trauma that they suffered at a younger age. So, you're trying to see how much Ronda Rousey is trying to portray about the comparisons. Is that when you do fighting at the elite level of combat sports, to me, that is almost safer than what goes on in WWE. And here's where I go with it. okay, and I'll probably get ridiculed for this comment, is that when you look at what goes on in wrestling, okay, to say that if a wrestler goes into UFC and does the 300 fights a year, they're dead.
Yeah, they won't last.
Okay? But my thought process on this is like, okay, so what causes CTE? Everybody out there watching right now, what causes CTE? CTE is caused by the blow of the head pushing forward and backwards. It's like getting hit over and over again. So when you take a bump in wrestling and
your
you
head's
fall
consistently
backwards and you slap your hands on the mat and your head hits,
that shock, that still counts and constitute as a headshot.
Any type of whiplash to the head causes that of trauma. So you to say this is fake, and I'm hoping that her words are just this as of a storyline, because to say that's fake is like saying that an MMA fighter getting hit isn't real either.
Right. Also, think about this too. Think about
like
this.
It's ridiculous to say that.
She was also on Steve-O's podcast, which Steve-O, the jackass guy from MTV, it was his 4th episode. So what about if you're just trying to get this kind of this pumped up, kind of puffed up Ronda Rousey, because that's kind of what her moniker has always been, has it not?
Yeah.
She has no filter. She has no remorse. She has nothing. And it's funny because there's also reports that have come out from the WWE that Nia Jax, who is part of the Samoan dynasty, cousin of The Rock, has been very vocal from the very dawn of Ronda Rousey coming to WWE, was that Nia Jax kept saying, put me inside the ring, put me inside the ring. I'll show her. I'll be safe with her, but I'll show her the ropes. But no, you kept putting her inside the ring with the 5 foot nothing, less than 100-pound woman throwing her around like a rag doll. The Bella Twins, same issue, same thing. So when you get to this point, and Nia Jax is continuously standing up, hey, put me inside the ring, I'll teach her. Now you get her coming out, say that you might want to watch your mouth, because if you don't and you come back, I'm going to slap it and I'm going to knock you out. Test me, bitch. That's one girl. I legitimately, honestly believe that if you get inside that squared circle again in wrestling, somebody's going to take liberties at her. And one reason why I say that, I'm not saying that anybody can knock out Ronda Rousey, and I'm not even going to say that. What I'm going to say is that it's going to be funny that if Ronda Rousey tries to do some kind of move, right? Tries to do something fancy, guess what a wrestler, all she has to do? Oops, my bad. I missed the spot.
And that's what I was just going to say, is that you talk about this not being real, but yet you can make this a real fight, but a real side for a wrestler. Because a wrestler that is like a Nia Jax or somebody that has pedigree can go ahead and alter a fight in a blink of an eye. And again, what did I mention at the beginning of the show? I mentioned that at the beginning of the show, there's another show called Dark Side of the Ring. Mm-hmm. It touched on the liberties that a wrestler can take in the ring that can blend the lines. So, if you want to go sideways, look at no further than New Jack. Remember that story?
Oh, absolutely. If you guys haven't watched Vice's Dark Side of the Ring,
ridiculous.
The latest one was on New Jack, and that was an incredible story. He's going to die with cocaine. But then you also have Jimmy Snuka's coming up. I believe it's tonight. So, yeah, give Vice Jimmy Snuka's.
It's just like It's just like what happened with Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. It really is starting
thought
to...
that he could get into the ring with a legit wrestler, and what happened? Andy Kaufman got power drived. Because again, oh yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
It's Ronda Rousey needs to just stick to Facebook Live Gaming with Mortal Kombat. Enjoy that while you can. Enjoy family life and on the farm. Because don't ever use that word fake again for wrestlers. Don't. I've been a fan of wrestling for over
it's a
20 years.
It's a whole nother can of worms that you don't want to open up, and a whole nother Pandora's box you don't want to dabble into. Because a lot of these guys can probably fight. A lot of these guys can take liberties you don't know about.
Yep.
Mind your P's and Q's and stay in your lane. You fell out of your lane.
Just stay in your lane.
In the UFC.
Yes. But as we got coming up, as you can see down at the bottom of the ticker, that is our next subject. WWE has been deemed essential. What does this mean for the UFC? And more about the WWE that has transpired in less than 24 hours. Breaking news from WWE, and man, it's going to send shockwaves through the wrestling community. So WWE was deemed essential, correct?
Correct. And they were dubbed essential by the governor, Ron DeSantis, because again, he's got allies. He's got buddies. And when he's got buddies, you look at the Super PAC Political Action Committee. That was done by Donald Trump. That was announced the other day with a group of Adam Silver, Rob Manford, Roger Goodell, Gary Bettman, Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, Mark Cuban, Vince McMahon, and Dana White. All of which, the very next day, dropped down $18.5 million to both Tampa Bay and Orlando. And then the very next day, DeSantis goes, hey, WWE, you're essential now. Way to go.
And this is where I would call on the conspiracy theories. Because as the conspiracy theories, they would probably pick this because this does not pass the smells test. It's a smokescreen, whatever you want to call it. Because this does not bode well for anybody. But what this does help out is the UFC side of things. Because if WWE is deemed essential, and they have their own home.
Yeah.
Because of the $1 billion that they have, UFC has their own home. It's called the Apex Center in Las Vegas.
And that's the interesting thing is that when you're talking about the Apex Center in Las Vegas, they could go ahead and put fights on there like the Ultimate Fighter and do certain little small events.
You could close it down.
Fighter Island happens.
Yeah, you could close down the facility, leave your essential people to come inside, and be able to handle it.
Yeah. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Hey,
I mean, if they wanted to.
Lorenz Larkin, what's up, man? Hopefully you guys are having fun in quarantine.
Dude, he's on Twitch gaming now.
I know, he's playing Call of Duty. He's another athlete that is so caught up in Twitch, YouTube gaming, and everything like that. It's so different to watch athletes get so invested right now during quarantine, and then freaking TikTok. I'm surprised I haven't seen Lorenz Larkin on TikTok right now. Watch, we're gonna get a text from Lorenz Larkin on this.
I'm on TikTok.
He's gonna shoot us a message. Go, boys. Hey, we haven't seen you in almost a year now.
It's been way too damn long. Way too long. But unfortunately, we're stuck in this quarantine. You can't do a whole lot. But with the WWE being deemed essential, that is the bright side of what the UFC has in their capabilities and what they can do.
Yeah.
They can follow the blueprint that has literally now been laid out by the WWE.
Absolutely.
So, the May 9th card is still on tap. I'll put an asterisk next to it just to be on the safe side. Because it may or may not happen. We don't know. if Disney has any power that they have, they might put a kibosh on it. But if I'm the UFC, I'm also looking at venues in Florida.
Absolutely. If Florida's the loophole to become an essential business for sports, because what they did is they signed an executive order that all sports are an essential business, but you have to do it in front of no fans. But you could still do live filming. You could still have live, I guess you could say, video.
I think it comes down to the fact that if you have testing and doctor personnel, right? You have all that stuff.
Yeah.
I believe that it's okay for a certain amount of people to be able to hold a fight. Like I was breaking it down that if you actually wanted to do the 10 people gathering rule, like you could have 2 announcers, 2 fighters, 1 ref, 2 corners for each, and a ring girl. There's your 10 people. Notice I did not say anything about a camera person because camera people now can be operated by remote controls.
Correct. So what you can do is take something out of AEW, what WWE has done, where they stole the camera angle that Ring of Honor does, which is basically like our camera angle that we use.
Yep.
Which is a dead shot straight ahead with the logo in the back. You could still do that and put a camera on a tripod monitor where that way you can remote control it. You want to tell me there's not remote control monitors?
If the news station have remote control monitors,
Like,
cameras, then so could the UFC. So when you're breaking it down, there is a very good shot that if they follow the blueprint of the WWE, they can operate on a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
So do I believe that May 9th could happen? Absolutely now. Why? Because follow the blueprint that is laid out for you. Follow the loopholes, and you can have a fight card.
It just may be awkward without the fans in there, but you can still have a fight card with the right camera angles, with the right action. You can make it still entertaining.
Everybody has to get this out of their mind that we are going to see sports with fans in them. That's done. That's done. You'll never see a venue with fans in this year. Guaranteed.
Oh,
it's not happening.
That I think I've seen more news come out recently that the fight cards, sports for that matter, whether it's boxing or whatever, is now suspending operations now until June. We already saw layoffs by the WWE, so this is probably going to go further than we know. I'm already saying don't expect anything to happen until November. That may be like a gray area of we may see some wiggle room. But right now in this moment, nah, we're not seeing anything. But if the UFC canceled 249, but yet 249 is going to be May 9th, which was normally labeled 250.
Dude, that car is stupid right now if that actually happens.
It is. It is. And it's like, if this gets canceled again or postponed, you should go back to the original
the word fake. Don't say cancel.
card.
Don't say cancel.
The original 249 card.
Yeah.
And then this card. And just hold it. Because it'll be a memory of what could have. Is this fight card going to happen? It's probably a 30% chance. If ESPN still has it their way, they're not going to do it. If it's going to be in California, they're not going to do it. It has to be sanctioned somewhere else where somebody else. And that's the thing. If you're like the California State Athletic Commission, they've already put the kibosh on everything. So you're not going to do it in California. But Ken DeSantis in Florida talk to the commission and make them waver where, yes, we'll go ahead and get the referees and we'll do this and we'll do this. Because they can't do it in New York. Well, because New York is just bad.
California, forget it.
Like, it's endless.
Governor Newsom ain't pulling any punches about anything that is related to anything right now. And he will put a kibosh on that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
like, he's the one that Newsom just... What did he say recently? That the realist possibility of anything happening is that the new normal will be that you going to a restaurant and you'll be seeing a guy with a mask and gloves. That's probably where the realistic possibility of us going is going to happen. And honestly, Sean, as weird as this is going to be the new normal. You're going to have to find a safe home. And I think for ESPN and Disney's sake, and I know that they're thinking about the safety of everybody, and I get it, but how much longer can ESPN sustain without content?
And that is a big
because
question.
What content are they showing right now? You got NBA players playing NBA 2K. You got Major League players playing MLB The Show. That's your content. So beyond that, what other content besides old WrestleMania, old spelling bees, do you get on ESPN? Not a whole lot anymore. I can't remember the last time I actually watched ESPN since this stuff happened. That is what we are looking at right now. We have to look at a bigger picture. Sports, regardless of what people say or not, sports is a very, very special part in everybody's lives. Are they not?
Yeah.
Sports is a sense of normalcy for a lot of people. This is a sense of normalcy for me. So that's why I decided today to jump online and figure out how long, what we could do, talk to our fans.
Even if it's about a little bit of nothing, but a little bit about everything.
Right.
And that's what this show was today.
And if you guys want to talk to us about sports, about life, or anything like that,
just drop us a comment.
Right. Drop us a comment. Hit the thumbs up, like icon, and we'll get back to you. Trust us.
Absolutely.
But we are the New Cross Brothers, and that's pretty much all we have for tonight for today's show. I appreciate everybody that has randomly dropped in because we did not put this out there. We did not tell anybody that we were coming back. So thank you guys for dropping in the comments, showing your love, showing your support for your boys, the New Cross Brothers. Catch you on the flip side. I'm Tristan Ducross. On my side, as always, is my brother, my one and only, Sean Ducross. Until next time, catch you on the other side. Stay safe, y'all.
Let's get it on! Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.